All right, tickets to a school dance cost $7. 90 tickets have already been sold. How many more tickets X must be sold to earn at least $840? Right, your answer is an inequality. So I want you to, at the bottom of your paper, write the word sanitizer. If you don't know how to spell that, that's S-A-N-T-I-Z-E-R. And then I'm going to give you some more words to write down just so I can make sure you're listening to this video. So tickets to the school dance cost $7. 90 tickets have already been sold. How many more tickets X must be sold to earn at least $840? So we've got this goal where we want to make $840 by the end of the night in selling these tickets. So here is our goal, $840. Now, let's imagine this as kind of like here's the bottom. Here would be having $0. So we want to get to $840, and as I said, up at the very top, and then there's $0 at the bottom. So then, but we have this information where 90 tickets have already been sold. So we actually already have some money. We're not starting at $0. We're starting at some value. How do we figure out how much money we already have? Well, if each ticket costs $7 and we've sold, so it's $7 for every ticket, and we've sold 90 tickets, then we can determine how much money we made by multiplying those two values to get that we have made $630 so far. So that's actually pretty close to our goal. We've got $630 already made. And so now we need to determine what is the difference between what we have and where we want to be. What is that difference here of the money we still need to make? The way that we would determine that is by taking the value of what we have and subtracting it from the value of where we want to be. So we would do 840 minus 630. I do math too quickly. And when we would subtract, we would say 0, 1, 2, and we would say that we still need to make $210 more in order to be able to reach our $840 goal. Now the question isn't asking how many more dollars do you need to make. The question is asking how many more tickets X must be sold. So we're trying to figure out if we need to make $210 more, how many more tickets do we still need to sell if each ticket costs $7? And you can determine that value by taking $210 and dividing it by the $7 of each ticket. 7 goes into 21 3 times, remainder of 0, and then drop a 0. This is just going to go up. And so we would say that we need to sell at least 30 more tickets. And so if X represents the number of tickets that we sell, as told by the problem, how many more tickets, X, then if we need to sell at least 30 more tickets, that means we either want to sell 30, so equal to 30, or more than 30. Go ahead and write the word coffee at the bottom of your paper next to the word sanitizer. On the next problem, each afternoon at most... Oh, I didn't put a number there. At most 50 people, let's say, buy coffee from a coffee shop. Write your answer as an inequality that represents this situation. So at most 50 people buy coffee from a coffee shop. Let X represent the number of people. So that means that X is at most, because X represents people, is at most 50. And so if X is at most 50, that means that's the most it can be, at most 50. So that's the most it can be. So that means X either equals 50 or is less than 50. And these problems is really just about getting that reasoning down in your head. You have to be able to reason through these mentally. So at most 50, that means that's the most it can be. So it either equals 50 or is less than 50. All right, before we start the last one, write the word water at the end of your paper. So write the word water at the end of your paper. All right, which inequality or inequalities have the same solution as 10 is less than or equal to X divided by 3? And then I put a little hint there. I said, remember to use the opposite operation to solve for X, because that's what we've been doing with all these problems, is that to get the X by itself, whatever is being done to it, you need to do the opposite. So on this one, for example, if 10 is less than or equal to X divided by 3, the opposite of dividing by 3, or the inverse operation, would be to multiply by 3. And you're not going to just multiply the right side by 3, you're also going to multiply the left side by 3. So if then we simplify that down, divided by 3 and multiplied by 3 are going to cancel each other out and leave you with x is greater than or equal to, we don't have to flip the sign because we didn't multiply by a negative number, and then 10 times 3 would be 30. So x is greater than or equal to 30. Now we need to determine which of the values look just like that or are similar to that. Well, I can see right away that this is definitely not going to be an answer. And so that probably means this one's also not going to be an answer. And then this one looks just like our solution, where the mouth is pointing towards the x, or x is greater than 30. And then on the last one, 0 less than or equal to x minus 30, then you got to think to yourself, well, if they have a 0 here, how would I turn that 30 into a 0? I would subtract 30, which does leave you a 0. And if you subtract 30 from the left, you'll have to subtract 30 from the right, which, because they're not like terms, you're just going to leave it as it is. And so you would see that, yes, that's also